Don't start yet. Sorry, don't start yet, please.
Ah, that's right. Alex can cut it off.
Okay.
Can
Where is it?
you?
That here.
Oh,
Yeah.
it changed.
Okay. Where is it?
With what?
Oh, you have, so you have the screen, the correct
Yes,
screen
yes,
up.
we do.
Yeah. Okay.
Stop
I
recording
must.
already.
Yeah. Why am I'm going to leave the task screen on the picture from the main screen, and okay. Let's see if it's okay. Let's just test it. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, so today we are going to continue the studies of the Living Spring, the book that was psychographed by Chico Xavier. And it's the spirit, the Emmanuel, yeah, Emmanuel spirit was, and this is the chapter 20. It's called Difference. Okay. All right, so let's start it. The text invites us. This is a quite interesting text. If you look at it in English, all right, there was a bit of really better. It was not well translated. Probably, if Colleen read that, you see that's funny English. Even the one that is translated, the translation was a sort of a, I think, some professional. I found better translation, and I need to do for myself. And I changed and I corrected before I start doing this.
If you have a good translation, Jackson, we would love it. Yes.
Yeah. So no, it's not. I didn't translate it, retranslated the book. I retranslated that page.
Okay.
Okay. So it was it's unbelievable the different terms that used, which is not really appropriate, even in Portuguese, even in the Portuguese, because it's an old Portuguese. You can better write that page in Portuguese in a different language. So if they're going to write a new version, I bet you that they are going to change some of the expressions. But anyway, this book, it's a daily reflection on fundamental spiritual questions. This is one of them. What truly distinguishes a spiritually evolved being from one that is not that evolved, is not mature evolved, I would say, using the word maturity. Okay. So it comes, this difference studies is based on the James, how can I say that, versicle? Well, the James verse in the Bible, on the versicle, chapter 2, versicle 19, and it says, "You believe that there is one God." Good. Even demons believe that and tremble. So this is in fact a warning about the that is of vital importance for spiritual alertness. That's one of the terms that I changed. Alertness. Okay, the verse is powerful and explain and it's profound. Many people believe in God, but the gospel asks something deeper. What do you do with that belief? Here's an assumption that people make, sometimes unconsciously. Belief, faith alone transforms the soul. It doesn't. Are the spirits morally superior, I would say mature, the only ones who recognize the divine reality? Are they? Anyone? So the question again, are the the spirit morally superior, or I'd say more mature, are the only ones who recognize the divine reality. The reality that we have a divine and a superior mind are the only ones. Do you understand my question?
I think like you could say like more immature, as we are putting,
Mhm.
Sometimes recognize there is like a not like a superior for something. Maybe they don't nominate as God, or don't recognize God as we have the vision of God, but like I guess
Yeah.
like in a sense everyone has some kind of
The question, in fact, is not how.
Yeah.
Yeah. The question is not how they recognize. If they actually are recognizing anyway, I think they do. They do. But they are, so it's not the morally evolved, not the mature spirits recognize the existence of the presence of God, right? So therefore, faith alone does not transform. Because those spirits that recognize, some of the spirits that recognize the presence of God, the existence of God, the existence of this big, intelligence, they still have lots of work to do in terms of development of the spirit. So faith or belief enough alone is not enough for transforming the soul. So the gospel, in fact, asks something deeper. What do we do with that belief? Right? So
I don't even believe faith is necessary to have that salvation. Like
exactly.
considering when we
But-
study spiritism.
But what I'm saying, the question is not, is the faith that gives us the salvation?
No.
Now, the question is faith enough give us, is faith alone give us salvation?
No.
So that's the point in that text, in that difference, in that, in that text from Emmanuel. So the existence of high power, divine justice, and spiritual help is a universal belief. Lots of different religions believe, they expect, they have those recognition of those divinities and divine expression of divinity. And Emmanuel says, expecting blessing from heaven is a common attitude among all. So that's in the text. So during difficult moments, illness, danger, loss, even people who rarely pray suddenly say, God, please help me. And Emmanuel goes, acknowledging the existence of the divine government is a sense shared by all creatures. Accepting the supreme power, or even, and Emmanuel goes again, undertaking the duty of worship of God can be found amongst both the righteous and the unrighteous. Almost everyone prays at some point, believes in a high power, hopes for divine assistance. We have those people that say, oh, I am agnostic, I don't believe in God, etc., etc. Sometimes you don't know in a moment of affliction, if they don't go, and oh my God, if this exists, help me, please. So this shows something universal in the human soul. But Emmanuel asks, does belief alone transform us? So belief versus transformation. As we could conclude already at this point, faith is the beginning not the end. So Emmanuel comments on James' statement on the Bible. It says, James was divinely inspired in this verse. For his words define the difference between believing in God and performing his sublime will. So, faith is the beginning, not the end. Spiritual growth requires action, not just a passive belief, a passive belief. Okay. Emmanuel goes again saying, intelligence is an attribute of all. Everybody has intelligence. And Spiritism teaches that all spirits are created simple and ignorant. We have heard about that, you know, on the Spiritist books. Says Kardec said that. Spirits told them that spirits were created or are created ignorant and simple. Through many experiences and incarnations, we develop knowledge, awareness, moral responsibility. So intelligence exists in everyone. And knowledge grows through experience. But knowledge alone does not determine moral elevation. And as we know from the Spiritism, spirits are always evolving. And what do we do with that? That's another question. Sometimes we find ourselves in a certain, how can I say, how you do that, or how you say that? You need as well to forgive my fluence, because after 5 months speaking only Portuguese, my fluence went down. So this is, I think, why bifurcation, right? So sometimes you find that in front of you, when you have some knowledge and you're going to use it. And knowledge can serve selfish purpose or the good of others. So two individuals may have equal intelligence, but one uses it to build, help, and enlighten, and the other may use it to dominate, exploit, or manipulate. So it's the use of intelligence to gather this experience, and with experience get knowledge. And Emmanuel says as well in the same, on the text, it says, knowledge arises from experience. And there is an example of two doctors. I'll give an example. Two doctors, they have the same training, but different intentions. Those two doctors, one uses medicine to heal, the other one to exploit patients for money. So Emmanuel goes again on his text saying, every living being evolves, and in evolving, it learns and comes to know. So that's what I mentioned before about knowledge. Same knowledge, different moral use of knowledge. That's what we're looking here. Okay, one doctor wants to be rich, another one wants to use medicine to heal, to make people, to, let's say, cater for the afflictions of those people, to make them better. And that is their payment, is their what they look for is that satisfaction of having helped someone, those that love the profession. So they might be other examples. So what I'm saying is this is a different moral use of knowledge. And there may be some other examples of the use of the same knowledge for the goodness of for selfish purpose. Anyone could give me another example, please?
Politics.
Hmm?
Politics.
Ah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's where you find the temptation getting and inflicting issues in the soul. It's when you go to the temptation of actually making things good for you, because you are helping someone or helping a situation where someone is going to, and as opposed to doing for the greater good. That's politician. It's a very, very good example. But this is the difference that Emmanuel speaks about. The distinction is not intellectual, it's moral. And what is the key, Colin? You love that word. What is the key? You love that word. Four letters word.
Love.
And all you need is love. So love is the key. Knowledge without love can produce manipulation, domination, selfish ambition. And knowledge guided by love produces service, healing, compassion. And Emmanuel goes further on that explanation, on calling our attention for that passage from James. And he says, and then he creates, actually, he mentioned all the devil and angel, but this is really, it's a moral statement as opposed to a literal being. So these terms should not be understood literally as mythical beings. In Spiritism, they represent moral states of consciousness. Emmanuel tells us in the chapter 20, the distinction between the unrighteous spirit and the righteous spirit, rather than the original good and evil. The text says evil and good. I replace then and change to unrighteous and righteous. Okay, lies in the path of knowledge. It says the demon, as a symbol of wickedness, carries out its own desires, often misguided and dark. The angel identifies with the purposes or the will of the Eternal One and fulfills them wherever it is. So one follows, the angel follows the will of the one of God, the will of our Creator, and demon is not following anything. So goes clean. Go clean. Go for it.
So we always come unstuck at this moment, don't we? The establishment of the use of the language of good and evil,
Yeah, I understand.
angels and demons, etc.
That's why I put exclaim before.
Yes, but there is a significant number of us that still operate under the idea that we are separate from God.
Mm-hmm.
And that instills within us a sense of fear. And fear is what drives selfishness.
Mhm.
because we are looking at ourselves and our loved ones or whatever we love, and we seek to protect because we feel separate and we feel that there is a need to operate on a basis of survival. This is not wicked. It really is just a state of understanding of where we are in our progression or in our sense of expansiveness. So when we label those that are ungodly or morally imperfect or morally stunted in growth, it really doesn't serve us to, once again, to differentiate between those that are following the path of God and those that are wicked or, yes, blinded by selfishness. It comes down to fear. And the fear is grounded in the idea that we are separate from God. So it is, again, we go back to the prodigal son. The son returns to the father and says, please forgive me. And yes, I will do anything in your house, but please accept me back. I don't yet understand what love is, but I return and I am ready to learn. The father says nothing about forgiveness. The father representing God, the creator, the universal energy. The father says, I forgive you. He doesn't say that in the gospel. He actually says, get up, get up. You have returned to us physically, but you never left. You never left. You always have a place here. And you have always had a place here. It is just that you did not see it. And so this is the prodigal son, as we see it, is not evil because he wants to experience the world. This is the joy of our lifetime. The gift of living is to explore, is to taste, is to stumble and fall, but to always return to love, because love is the only thing that makes sense. But this is not wicked or evil. It is just the path that we tread as human beings. So yes, to differentiate and say one is wicked and one is not, or one is good and bad, or yes, it doesn't serve us. Yes. Do you get what I am trying to say?
Yes, and I respectfully not disagree, but I
see.
think that this was taken on literally. That's
Yes.
why I said the terms represent moral states rather than literal beings or even literal concepts that has been sold by other, people exactly trying to get what you just said, fear.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
those were only figures of speech that for us to be able to easily understand the deficiencies, or maybe the again, if you start using subjects, is not easy, but we need to communicate. We need to say, look, certain things needs to be experienced further. Some people may not have experienced certain weakness, I would say, as they sail, because their trajectory didn't let's say, cross in a path that God determined that certain situation they need to experience to then experience what they need to do differently or something like that. Some people don't, and that's why. But according to Spiritism, some people don't. So the paths are different, but we know what can hurt others. We know you need to express that. We need to identify. We need to use figures of speech. And this is where you need to reflect. Some people need to reflect themselves, what they do, and how this is received by others or by themselves. Maybe in a divine war, as I said, nothing is wrong. Absolutely nothing is wrong. However, certain people suffer, and we are suffering here. And is with this suffering, and I would say, is with the suffering sometimes of others that we learn. And sometimes, and I asked a question for someone a couple of days ago, what would you prefer? In any situation, you commit the injustice or the injustice being made with you? If you could choose, what would you choose? And this is a very hard question. Do you want to suffer injustice, or do you want to inflict injustice? If you needed to choose, if you were able to choose, you suffer or you inflict. Okay, it's like asking for the mother. If you do you want your son or your daughter, not your sibling, to be, if you could choose, do you want them to get sick or you want to be sick on this place? The mom is always say, I want to be sick in my. But in terms of inflicting or receiving injustice, if we were, and we are not, because this is just, a reflection, a philosophy kind. But no, I would like really to be injustice instead of inflicting injustice. But then you're thinking about serious situations. You go to the jail, you are innocent, but you're going somewhere place. However, this is one situation with being injustice. The other situation, you give a testimony that makes someone go to the jail, and injust situation. If you could choose, suffer and go to the jail because of just, you sent someone, and what would you choose? It's very hard question. Same thing in regards to, as you said, we separating the person, that the person's weaker. We're talking about what we need to reflect ourselves in terms of our feelings and our decisions and our knowledge and the use of knowledge. And unfortunately, Manuel choose to personificate those feelings using the whole angel. And he says, these are moral conditions, not mythical beings. It's just moral conditions. So it's much morally evolved or morally mature if you exert medicine, thinking about healing someone, thinking about have the pleasure of making someone, cured, as opposed to being able to buy a BMW because I did an operation. So those are the situations, and none of them are wrong from the eye of God, because they are serving a purpose, a divine purpose, always. However, we are discussing this. We are discussing self-analysis in terms of how can I do better. Colleen.
So please forgive me, everyone, because I am a dog with a bone. Yes, when we look at the picture on the screen right now, we see the person conflicted. Yes. So the one on the right, on the left, yes, is the demon. The one on the right is the angel. But when we look at the choice that we are given here, this is not a moral issue. This is one of knowledge. This is not a moral issue when we feel separated. or when we delve into fear, because fear fuels selfishness.
Again, fear doesn't fit on that and on that context we're talking about. Fear doesn't fit, or easiness doesn't fit. What we're talking about is there are certain situations that you need to deal inside. In each of and one of the phrases that says is each of us is evolving between those states. Okay, so we need to make choices. And I give you an example in the next slide.
Okay.
Example, everyday moral choice. Okay, you find a lost wallet. Two possible choice. Keep the money or return it. I mean, this is very, let's say, very, I would say even, and I would say for us, this is one that would be easy for us here. Easy, absolutely easy. Return it. However, we may face others not that easy. And so is our everyday. And my question again for you, Colleen, is, or the others, what guides your decision when nobody's watching? Love would say, but can we be less abstract?
It's your morals.
On a superficial level, it is moral.
Yeah.
But when we delve into the source of the issue, then it is one of separation, and we take because we want for ourselves.
Exactly.
And this establishes our sensitivity or understanding of whether we are alone and separate from God, or whether we are one with.
No,
So on a superficial level, it is moral, but on a deeper level, it is down to our fear that we are left to fend for ourselves, so we take it.
no.
Yes.
Divine. So I disagree. I include another thing.
Okay.
Jesus gave us a very, very clear guide. And this is about experience again, and experience turns into knowledge. Don't do to the others what you don't want to be done to yourself. But if you don't know what is this in yourself, then you are in the limbo, because you didn't experience. There are certain things that you don't experience, don't have experience. Do you understand what I mean?
So there is also a place in the gospel where Jesus says to his disciples, "There you see the lowliest, and there I am."
Yes.
So you see that the other is a part of ourselves, not separate from ourselves. So if you take it, then you are experiencing separateness, because you would not even think about taking from another, because the other is a part of yourself.
Absolutely. Colleen, this comes from your level of maturity, spiritual maturity. Not everybody has that level of maturity. We are here talking for people, or giving some reference for people to think.
Yes.
People to review the days and review attitudes and see, oh my God, I could have done better. But what better means? Then we go again and again and again and again.
Yes.
A never-ending discussion, because this is about experience. This is about knowledge. And when I say experience, throughout incarnation, experience that we even don't know that we have, which comes then into the intuition, right? And this is a very, very, how can I say, subjective discussion. All right. So we are transcending that short period of time we're living, where we have the consciousness of what happened since were conscious of our existence until now. But we don't know what we don't know. So we try to, with our humble language, with our humble reference, try to give people reference to then being able to reflect, to think, to self-assess. And unfortunately, Emmanuel used God and devil. I don't like as well, but anyway, that's what we have. That's what you're looking is that text. So I just did the parallel, and but the symbolism is we have small moments of moral decision every time, and we take that decision based on our spiritual maturity, if that's a good term.
My mom always says every day is a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So another thing as well that people think, I'm talking about again, for people probably they are not here with us, but we are discussing this anyway, right? So the other one is the belief that a religion identity would be enough to make us worth of spiritual maturity. So religion is not enough. Being part of a religion, Christian, Spiritism, any other tradition, does not automatically transform our character. It's a tool. So someone may attend religious meetings, read spiritual books, speak beautifully about morality, but if their behavior contradicts these teachings, they don't walk the talk. The knowledge will remain unused, or I would say not well used. When I'm saying the knowledge is the experience, what they are teaching, they don't follow what they teach. So this is only on its own is already something to be reflected about. So what matters is how we live. So this is really a moral lesson. It's how we live. We should reflect our acts and use as a reference, as much as possible, Jesus, for example. And use it, because we need a benchmark. Otherwise, again, we go into that situation because you don't have the full story. We need to act sometimes on the intuition, because it's in the intuition sometimes that knowledge that we don't know and the experience that we don't know we have acts. All right, so we need to give it chance. Give it a chance. And what gives it chance is that beautiful, peaceful, internal peacefulness that, for example, Colleen has, which is called also love. Right? So that internal peacefulness, that ability to look back, to reassess, to try to put in someone else's shoes, which sometimes works, sometimes doesn't, because you don't have the experience, will guide us. But just the effort is already a step on the right direction, on the direction of God, on the direction of love, because God is love. So Emmanuel says, remember then, that merely belonging to a religious school is not enough for the problem of personal happiness to reach a satisfactory solution. See, they're talking about the personal happiness, right? But again, if you're thinking about inclusion, the personal happiness is the happiness of someone else, is the happiness of everybody when we are connected, when you feel connected. Worship the Lord, hoping in Him and believing in Him are attitudes characteristic of all people. So we were born with that. So it doesn't mean that we are making this alone, this kind of religious affiliation or etc. It doesn't do. and alone. Okay, so religious identity is different from moral transformation. That's the point. Okay, so religion is a structure, not the final goal. Religion can help us, not the. It's the means, can be the means, not the end. I give an example. Chico Xavier, his life of humility and service. So there is a story that says that he never claimed spiritual superiority. He never claimed that. But his life demonstrated humility, service, charity, patience. His credibility came not from words, it came from the way he lived. And there's a story that says one evening, Chico Xavier was leaving the Spirit Center after a meeting, and a poor person approached him and said, "Chico, I am hungry. I have nothing to eat tonight." Chico checked his pocket and realized that he had very little money left, just enough for his own simple meal. Without hesitation, he gave the money to the man. A friend who witnessed the situation asked him, "Chico, what about your dinner?" Chico replied gently, "My friend, I am not really giving. I am only return what belongs to God." That's a beautiful story.
Nice.
So Chico did not just believe in charity, he lived charity. This illustrates Emmanuel's message. The difference lies in practicing the good. Again, good is the word, but practicing what you feel is correct. You probably is doing the correct thing. If you feel that we are doing the right thing, it becomes the right thing, even if it's not that good. But if you believe it is, but believe in, there are lots of, this is another discussion, because not just believing that we're doing the right thing may be the right thing for others. Okay? So, and we have daily opportunities for doing this. Okay? Spiritual growth happens in small daily actions. Patience, kindness, forgiveness. So listen patiently, forgiving an offense. Okay, forgiving, again, it's we just mentioned that there was no forgiveness about forgiving another situation. It's again doing the right thing, it's forgetting, it's not letting that bad feeling of anger or some grows inside of you, and as well towards the other person. As you said, this person is part of me, in the in that view, in that belonging view that particularly Colleen has. And forgiving is accepting. It's giving the other not the right, but the I don't know how to express that, but feeling that person is not in fault. It's some divine expression of an action that needs to happen, that we don't know why it happened, we don't know the reasons, so we give that, but this is not easy, because sometimes it goes against of sense of survive, of exist. It's hit very hard our ego, which is part of our primitive sense of surviving, right? So forgiving and also helping quietly, that's another thing. And controlling anger. And sometimes in my prayers, I said, God, give me the chance to, help someone, even if I don't even recognize that I am doing it, because sometimes you do a absolutely fantastic good to someone else, and we didn't even notice that we did. And I don't mind. I don't want to know when I did a good thing. I just want to do it. So and then on the last paragraph, Emmanuel says, the only sign that you reveal your noblest condition will be found in the actions you perform in life, aimed at carrying out his will. Great spiritual progress often occurs through small victories over ourselves. That's quite interesting, eh? Small victories over ourselves is when we realize that yes, I understood that now, and now I'm going to act this way, based on the feeling that I am doing the right thing, the divine thing. So, the Spiritist teachings that faith must be believed and knowledge must become action. So our actions reveal our intentions, our moral maturity, as how much experience and how much mature we are, as for example, Colleen with her comments. It's another level. Our alignment with divine law. The gospel constantly emphasizes fruits. By the fruits you shall know them. So if someone is absolutely practicing charity, charity, without even thinking, that's a good fruit. Hey, this is an absolutely fantastic soul. And Emmanuel's complete that phrase, that one says, indeed, mere belief in the good that will come from the Lord does little to advance spiritual growth. What truly matters is the diligent practice of goodness, here and now, in his name. Or even not in his name, because you're doing anyway, you are part of it. So he's everywhere. Right? So I invite you to a reflection. Do I only believe in God, in good, or do I practice daily? So think about today. Set up on today, the day today, Tuesday, 17th of March. Did I have an opportunity to practice kindness? Did I miss an opportunity to forgive, or some derivative for forgiveness? Did I help someone quietly? 10 seconds to think about it. Yeah, we always find, don't you? Okay. So, final message. It's necessary to practice the good here, today, in daily life. And there is another story that I want to tell you quickly about these two workers in a speed center. So both worked every week. One said frequently, I have been working here for years. People should appreciate my dedication. The other worked quietly, cleaning chairs after meetings. When someone thanked him or her, this person replied, I am the one who should be grateful for the opportunity to serve. Externally, both were doing the same work. Spiritually, however, their inner motivation were different. The lesson is the gospel reminds us the value of an action lies in the intention behind it. As we discussed before, if you think that we are doing the right thing for the sake of being the right thing, then we're doing the right thing spiritually, even if it's a big mistake. So, spiritual progress happens in the present moment, not in theories, not only in study, but in daily conduct. So, belief opens the door. Belief opens the door. Knowledge lights the path. But only action transforms the spirit. And the message, the true message is that one. True spiritual evolution happens when what we believe, what we understand, and what we do become the same thing, based in love. Thank you. Okay, I will close that. How can I close this?
Thank you, guys.
Bang. Oops. Oops.
Anyone have anything else to share, to add? Again, encourage everyone. There's no right or wrong.
Oh, why is my screen? Okay, got it.
It's
Left.
just about sharing and learning together. So if anyone wants to jump in and just saying, I can say I can have my little devil and angel every day. Sometimes when I debate with myself, I don't want to do that. But then I was like, you shouldn't be thinking like that. You should be more evolved spiritually speaking. So I debate with those in my head every day, sometimes, most of the time. But I get encourage us to, I understand the whole, like the part of what Colleen say and Jack's is saying, but like, I like that figuratively side of it, that kind of, even though we joke around be the devil and the angel, like, talking and reflecting, I guess the outcome is that we reflect about it. Because when we have that kind of, for example, I just discussed with a colleague at work this week, the same one that I discussed in the past anyway. And like, sometimes I'm really angry with him, and I want to just to vomit and kind of have a confrontation. And I was like, nah, I will hold my tongue, so that one thing. And I guess like, without putting nomenclature or anything like that, I guess the bright side and the outcome of that is that helps you to think about it, because I think that's the good of all that philosophical, devils and angels. It's about like, if you have that, it kind of, maybe that's the first time you stop to reflect that, the actions, like what these actions gonna wait, what these actions gonna wait. So, and you stop to think about it instead of just action irrationally. So I like that philosophical side of it, to reflect and stop to thinking, because sometimes we don't. So I guess that philosophical figures of devil and angel brings that at some point we stop. Even though we at least sometimes I bend a bit more on the devil side of it, when I'm really angry and I say, and I go and I want to gossip and share and like comments and talk shit about him.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I was like, no, I should not do that because I'm involved, I shouldn't. So I guess it brings that reflection that sometimes we need it. So I like that that concept, that philosophical concept to inside of my own head. I have that debate about things, and sometimes I have good outcomes. Sometimes I'm still debating. So anyways.
But just one comment about that. I think, in my opinion, I'm not sure about you guys, the center of this lesson here is the intention.
Yeah.
If you do, we do gossip. What's the intention of feeding that gossip? We want to feel better. I want to feel better because we gossiping, we make someone down, and I go up. So I feel good myself, even though we not really want that person to be bad, but we want us to be better because there is something wrong there, and I'm not wrong. So it's almost interesting if you analyze the intentions. Exactly what is the intention I am doing that? Because sometimes it's so disguised that you think we are doing the right thing, and you think we did the right thing. But if you analyze the deep down intention we're doing that, we might find, oh my God, there is the devil. And that's where the figurative part comes, Colleen, in terms of using that. It's quite easy to, sorry.
Yeah, that was no, but I guess it's a good discussion as well. As we always say here, we are different people with different backgrounds, with different experience, and like what we share helps us to understand maybe like the way maybe sometimes we never stop to think the same way as Colleen presented today, and that is something that we bring to our daily thoughts, or maybe we haven't thought about it what you present about that. And I guess that's the beauty. We are always here to learn and share and moving forward with our learnings. Maybe we're not prepared or not ready to really action in some ways, but at least maybe that's the first time we're at least listen to a different point of view and kind of stop to think about it. So I guess that's already a winning in our progress, spiritual progress, because maybe that's the first time we stop to talk about that and and accept a different interpretation. So it's always a winning, even though it's different opinions, but it's always a good thing because it's a debate to help us to keep moving forward. Well, but anyone else? Otherwise, we can finish with a final prayer or something. If you have prepared something different, Jackson, or you can finish with a final prayer for us.
Sorry, no, I didn't have time, and
That's okay.
But next time I will.
We just said that what it's important is the intention. So if your final prayer, your intention is to wrap this with love and and peace, that's good.
It was brilliant, Jackson. So great for you to be back with us and sharing. You're always very topical and stimulating presentations. It's great. Thank you
very much. This is a good incentive for me to get better. I hope.
Great.
Would you like more opportunities? You can do my turn.
Oh no, I have another 1 month.
If you want to just be encouraged to do better, you can do my turn.
I will do better in 4 weeks.
All right then, Jack. So if you could please just do our final prayer so we can close this night and carry on with our daily routines of this beautiful night.
So it's me doing the final prayer? Yeah. Okay. So we should be thankful. We are thankful for Pedro Manuel and his team that is here back with us, for the inspiration, for the stimulation, for the divine energy that surrounded us, as well for the enlightenment that gave to us, for this group, for that moment, and for the opportunity we had here, which is divine as well, and asking for us to be able to somehow influence that world that's so in need of love, of peace, of charity, of consideration for the others. A world that seems to be dominated by egos and by division. we, Divine, ask that your love spread over us, over particularly those that make decisions, for those that are silent, to speak with eloquence and is able to, or are able to shine, shine the light of reason, the light of love into the world. In that light grows, and fill the darkness where we are at moments, places of shadow that needs light, that needs love, that needs peace, that needs the presence of the real divine. So we are thankful for being here, for being at the moment together, sharing our thoughts, sharing our wisdom, sharing our life experience, and asking for a good week, a week that we can also share that enlightenment, even silently, even anonymously, to others. And we are grateful for that. So thank you very much for all the all the mentors that were present with us. My mentor for helping me with that, for that opportunity that was given to me, and to our discussion today. That was very good. That was fantastic. Thank you very much, and so be it.
Thank you, Jax. Thank you all for coming. Stop recording.